Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Day Trader. Coming up in just 34 minutes now, we have the earnings for Rivian. It's going to be an explosive evening. We do expect a lot of information that will affect other stocks in the sector as well. So sit back and relax. If it's your very first time here, do click the subscribe button. Let us know you're here. Rivian earnings coming up very, very shortly. We discussed it before. We have a lot of chat going on. Please leave all your thoughts and comments in the chat. What do you think? Then we listen into the earnings. The earnings is all ready to go. This is the stock price. It just dropped and rebounded back very, very quickly. There we go. This is the chart we're also looking at, and this is the presentation from Rivian. It'll come up very, very soon. You won't miss it. You'll be here live for the whole thing. So stick with us and leave your thoughts and comments below in the chat, and we'd love to get your thoughts. Okay, just 33 minutes to go. Let's get the energy going. Click the share button, click subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comment. Get ready for the earnings of Rivian. Tonight, according to Rivian, everything changes. Let's see what happens tonight. Good luck, everybody. See you back in a few minutes. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Day Trader. This is the Rivian earnings tonight. We're very excited about it. I've got shares in Rivian, of course. You know, I've made money all the way up to $170. Sold it all the way down, made profit all the way down without shorting it once, without doing contracts once, and now I've got quite a small position at $29, and I'm happy. I don't see I'll ever lose money again on Rivian, but anyway, time will tell. This is the position right now. There was a big sell-off, and it bounced right back. I'm up 43%. I've just got 26 shares, but that's all I need to own, because when the stock goes back up to $40, $50 in the future, that'll be a nice return, and that's all I need because my EV space is full on my portfolio. There is Rivian right now. This is the chart we're looking at as well, and Rivian, this is their presentation. We'll be presenting it very, very soon, in just half an hour from now. So you leave all your comments and thoughts in the chat, and we'll share them all, and you can leave your thoughts and comments, and we'll be right back. Click the subscribe, ring the bell. We go live every morning for the opening and closing bell. We're always live here on The Day Trader, 10 hours a day, sharing our real trades, our real money, our real positions. Thank you very much indeed. We're trying to grow the best YouTube channels in the world. That's what we try to do. We have two channels, the Money channel, and we have the Martyn Lucas Music channel. I'm known as the World Piano Man after performing in 195 countries. We've raised over $1 million in our studio here behind me for our charities. If you're interested in listening to my music after the show, here is the music channel, and together with the music and the money, we're trying to grow the best YouTube channels in the world, giving away money, helping support people, always tell the truth, always share with you my live trades, always be live 10 hours a day now, Monday to Friday for the last 14 months. Never miss, never will, and we're here for you. All right, coming up in just a few minutes' time. Sit back and relax. Earnings just around the corner. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Day Trader. We're getting very excited. Rivian Earnings is just 24 minutes away now. Let me show you the current share price, what's actually happening with the stock. It popped back down and gone back up again. What is the earnings going to do tonight? And remember, it's not about the earnings. It's about the presentation, where the stock is going. We know that everyone's got price constraints and inflation problems and all this production stuff. We know about supply shortages. We're interested in where the stock is going, where the company is going, what is it doing. So here is the Rivian chart right now. You can see there was some buying in and some selling. Let me refresh the screen and see if we've got the actual figures coming in for Rivian. We are presenting the official Rivian earnings. This is the Rivian earnings here, and we're presenting it to you. What makes us the best place to watch all your earnings, because we cover nearly all of them, 10 hours a day, all the main companies. We're live all of the time. Is one, you see my real shares, my real positions. We have cash prize giveaways all the time for everyone. We're here to help people, but also we discuss it live with all of you. My members can call in live to the show and be on the show and be part of the show. You can share your thoughts in the chat as well, and then we discuss it afterwards. Let's scroll down and see if we've got the figures come through yet. No, they're not available yet, as you can see, and their expectations will be their best earnings today if they do it. That would be good to see. It's a strong buy by our analysis of 17. It's a strong buy, a hold of 35. No one is selling, and that's absolutely right. I am not selling. I've got 26 shares. That is all. I used to have about 1,000, but I put it in Tesla. But I am up 47%. I've got an average of $29. Very, very happy with that, and I'm holding it there. And let's see what happens tonight in the earnings. Okay, there we go. We'll be back with the earnings live very, very shortly in just 22 minutes from now. Don't go away. Smash the like button, subscribe, ring the bell. If you're over there on TikTok, thank you very much for joining us. I'll come back to you in 1 second. All right, just give me 1 second. I'll come directly back to you. So let me see you back in just a few minutes. Bye-bye for now. Welcome everybody here to the Day Trader. We're getting ready now for our... There we go, that's better. We're getting ready, I forgot the light there. We're getting ready for our earnings reports, and as you can see, we're getting a massive swing. Rivian now is up to $40 a share. Absolutely great. I have 26 shares at the moment. I sold out a lot and I kept this amount. These are all my profits, by the way, I made from trading it. This is all free money, but very, very good. We're up 50% now on the stock. And there we go. It's up 2.62 after hours. The earnings will be out very soon, and the report will be great, and the presentation will be great. It might drop. There might be a sell-off of profits. People are desperate to make money right now. There's been a hard time on the markets. But we are live in 15 minutes. If you just tuned in, leave your comments in the chat. We will put them on the screen. Here's our first comment. Fusion 301, 10% swing. Holla says Logan Pizza. If you come into the live chat, hi everyone. Dexter Sickles. I will put your comments on the screen. Subscribe and ring the bell. This is the official earnings. Why do I say it's the official earnings? Well, because I said so. And why do I say so? Well, because we are broadcasting the official earnings. This is the official earnings, but we do it in a more entertaining way, sharing with you my real positions and my real trades, which is why we're the best place for all the earnings. We do earnings all the time. We're live 10 hours a day, Monday to Friday, and I've just been talking to my TikTokers, and for those that came into the chat, I see we have some that have come across from TikTok. I told you about the cash prize giveaway that we're doing in the morning. We do it every single Friday. If you'd like to be in our cash prize draw, we do it every single Friday. We give away money all the time. Why? Because I like doing it, and I want to grow the best YouTube channels in the world. And I say channels because there's two. This is the money, the other is the music. Here is the newsletter. It goes out every single Sunday. Every single Sunday. If you want the newsletter, I've just put it in the chat for you. There it is. You click on the email. Put your email in, nothing more. I'll never sell you anything. You can unsubscribe at any point. It's a secure server. Once you've done it, you'll get a verification email, because I can't email you unless you verified it. The email that you get is thedaytrader@martynlucas.com. Search for it in your junk folder. It will go into your junk folder because it contains the words cash prize draw. It always does. So look there in the cash prize draw in your junk folder, and you'll receive the email on Sunday with all my trades, all my tips. I never sell you anything. I just share with you what I'm doing. This is my real money, my real trades, and you'll be in our prize draw every single Friday for doing absolutely nothing other than watching our show. That's it. That's it. Okay, there's my position of Rivian. This is my real shares, my real position. My overall portfolio is this, by the way, 42,000, which I grew from $5,000. That's my overall portfolio. There you go. You can see it there right now. And here is the Rivian earnings. We're getting ready. Here's the chart. And here's the presentation coming from Rivian. We'll bring that to you as soon as it begins in 12 minutes time. All right. So one last time, I'm going to give this to you now. Many people ask me, and they click afterwards and they check out my music. I'm known as the World Piano Man. Performed in 195 countries all over the world. And here is my music channel. I'm going to give it to you now because I told you we have two channels. Here is the music channel. If you want to check out my music afterwards, I do 14 voices, 7 different languages, and 650 songs. And if you become a member today during the show, you can have a fundraiser for free. I've given away $1 million in this studio. This is my studio behind me. Let me share with you. There's my studio behind me, my music studio, see behind there. We've raised $1 million in this studio for our charities. And if you become a member in today's show, you can have a fundraiser. You pay me absolutely nothing. I take no commission whatsoever, and you can have your links on the screen to your fundraiser, your event. I've raised money for the Lions Club. I've raised money for cancer. I've raised money for nurses. You get all the money. I charge nothing. Why do I do it? I just like helping people, and I want to grow the best YouTube channel in the world. That's my aim. And I'm live every day doing it. So there you go. There is the invitation if you want to be a member of our channel. Check out all our perks and benefits. and we're here to help everyone. Justin Hardy, great job. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. I'm fully dedicated to this service. I don't tour anymore because of COVID killed my business. So now I go live every day with my music and my money channels. And I'm here to help everyone. Okay, we'll be back in 11 minutes time with the earnings. If it's your very first time here, please do subscribe and ring the bell. Consider becoming a member, we'd appreciate it. Smash the like button. That really helps us grow on YouTube. If you smash the like button, it tells YouTube to share the video to other people. That's it. All right? Great stuff. We've only got 16 likes at the moment, just 16 likes. There's 46 people watching. Please smash the like button. I provide this service completely free. I'm live all the time, sharing with you my real trades, bringing you the best quality I can and the most honest, real YouTube channel in money and the best guests. Please, all I ask is you like the video. That helps it grow, makes all the difference. I really appreciate it. So smash the like button if you wouldn't mind. If not, that's okay. It just doesn't help us at all. It really makes a difference if you do. Thank you very much for your consideration. See you back in a few minutes' time. Here is the current price of Rivian. Here is the presentation of Rivian. And here is the chart. We are all ready to go. Buckle up. This is my live position on Rivian. There we go. You're starting to smash the like button now. Thank you for those of you that are smashing the like. I appreciate it. And hit subscribe as well. See you back in just a few minutes' time. And share your comments on the screen by putting them in the chat. And I'll put them on the screen just like Justin Hardy. Justin Hardy, here's your comment. Who else have we got? PSNY will skyrocket. Only a company that can ramp up without spending any money. There we go. What else have we got? Earning calls is in 15 minutes. There we go. Garrett Creel. Welcome, Garrett, to the show. Fusion. Welcome to Fusion. There we go. We've got 20 likes now. Brilliant. Half of you have liked the video. We appreciate it. Smash the like button. Just 9 minutes to go. All right. See you back in a few minutes' time. Get ready for earnings. Okay, just 8 minutes to go, folks. We're just getting ready to go now. And I've decided, you know what, tonight we're celebrating because the stock market is looking pretty good. If I go over to my overall portfolio, this is my situation right now. We're up from $5,000. This is what we started our portfolio with a year ago. We're at $42,000 right now, looking good. This is the overall situation. And do you know what? Tonight, I fancy a bit of a beer. So I'm going to go and grab a beer, sit back and relax. We're going to listen to Rivian. You can leave all your comments on the screen. We can discuss the stock price. You can share your views. Please do give us a thumbs up and like the video. Help us grow here on YouTube. Everything we do here is for everybody else. Our profits go to charities. They go to you. We have cash prize giveaways every Friday. I'm going to go and grab a beer. I'll see you back in just a couple of minutes for the official earnings from Rivian. See you back in just a second. Don't go far away. I'll be right there through the kitchen. Gonna go and grab a beer and relax tonight. Here we go. Okay, we're back live with you now. Just 4 minutes to go before earnings begins. It's a big night tonight. We're very, very excited. Thank you everyone for being here. This is the official Rivian Earnings. We are broadcasting the official Rivian Earnings. This is it, ready to go. We are listening in. And when it goes live, we will have it for you. So you will hear it first. And just mute that a second. There we go. We're just muting that. There it is, just waiting. And it'll go live in 3 minutes time. Jazz Deep Singh, good morning to you. And we're just waiting for it to go live. Hang on a second, we have a slight technical problem there. Let me just delete that a minute. There we go, that's better. I don't know why that was coming through twice. Let's try that again. There we go, that's better. There we go. We were having it come through twice there for some reason tonight. But anyway, we're all sorted. Hopefully that's all good. CY Financials is here. One of our favourite YouTube channels is here. And we're helping support him growing as well. Wonderful stuff. Thank you, Caden, for joining in. Make sure that you comment below. All YouTubers that want to grow, make sure that you comment below the videos after they go out. That way, it's like leaving your business card. And Caden, top tip there for you. After this video goes out, and you can, once it's not live anymore, you can comment below it. And if you comment below it, it's like a business card, and everyone will see your YouTube channel and can click to you. And people do. I actually comment on some of the biggest YouTubers in the world, and they reply to me. I had a reply the other day from Graham Stepan and Meet Kevin. They reply to me. It's because I comment first, and I always leave a positive comment for them. And D. Loven Tuv from Texas. Welcome to you. I'm actually from Texas myself. I'm in Dallas, Texas, so I'm down the road from you. Just 1 minute to go. It's the earnings for Rivian. We're getting ready for the official earnings. Buckle up. If you've just tuned in, subscribe and ring the bell. Let us know you're here. Give us a subscription. Please smash the like button right now. Please do smash the like button. My name is Martyn Lucas, known as the World Piano Man, and I also go live every day with our channel. We're here to help people. Everything you see here is real and genuine. Afterwards, if you'd like to check out my music, here is my music channel. I have 2 channels, the music channel, the money channel, and we're trying to grow the best channels in the world. We've given away $1 million already in our studio here to our charities. We give cash prize draws away every single Friday. We're doing it in the morning. All the information is below our video if you want to be in the draw. Okay, we're just seconds away now. Let me stop the clock. We don't need that anymore. We're getting ready. We're listening in to Rivian right now. And we're waiting for them to broadcast. Hi, Loven. Welcome, everybody. Just moments away now. We're just 30 seconds away. Most Rivian reports are a minute or so late normally, but we'll look in tonight. Looking good so far. Let's refresh the screen and let's see if we can get any updates on prices. But remember, it's not about the price. It's about the value and where the company is going forward. Great stuff. All right, we're just seconds away now. Here is the price. If we scroll down, have they put the figures on the screen? Not yet. So we'll go back to there. And here we go. Seconds away. All right, we're listening in. We're listening in. And as soon as they report, you'll have it live. Okay? We're just waiting for them to go live now, and we'll bring it to you any second now. All you can do is listen in, and we'll bring it to you the moment they go live. Rivian Earnings tonight. If you've just clicked subscribe, ring the bell, give me a thumbs up. Help us grow our channel. Rivian Earnings is just seconds away. And we'll bring it to you any moment now. I'm listening in. Thank you ever so much, everyone, for being here. My name is Martyn Lucas, the World Piano Man. All right.
Good day, and thank you for standing by, and welcome to Rivian second quarter 2022 earnings conference call. At this time, all participants are on a listen-only mode. After the speaker's presentation, there'll be a question-and-answer session. To ask a question during the session, you'll need to press star 11 on your telephone. Please be advised that today's conference is being recorded. I would now like to hand the conference over to your speaker today, Tim Bay, Vice President of Investor Relations and Strategic Finance. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for Rivian's second quarter 2022 earnings call. Joining us on today's call, we have RJ Scaringe, our Founder, Chairman, and Chief Executive Officer, and Claire McDonough, our Chief Financial Officer. A copy of today's shareholder letter is available on our investor relations website. Before we begin, I would like to remind you that during the course of this conference call, our comments and responses to your questions reflect management's views as of today only and will include statements related to our business that are forward-looking statements under federal securities laws, including, without limitation, statements regarding our market opportunity, industry trends, business operations, strategy and goals, our second domestic manufacturing facility, our future products, including R2, and our expectations regarding vehicle deliveries. Actual results may differ materially from those contained in or implied by these forward-looking statements due to risks and uncertainties associated with our business, which are described in our SEC filings and today's shareholder letter. During this call, we will discuss both GAAP and non-GAAP financial measures. A reconciliation of GAAP to non-GAAP financial measures is provided in today's shareholder letter. With that, I'll turn the call over to RJ, who will begin with a few opening remarks.
Thanks, Tim. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. Just before the call, we published our shareholder letter, which includes an overview of our progress over the recent months. I encourage you to read it for additional details around some of the items we'll cover on today's call. The Rivian team delivered strong second quarter results despite the challenging supply chain environment. We produced and delivered over 4,400 vehicles across the R1T, R1S, and EDV 700. We have also recently started production validation builds of our EDV 500, which is a narrower and shorter version of the EDV and well-positioned for markets and applications where smaller form factors are needed. Our key focus remains ramping our Normal facility to its full 150,000 units of installed capacity. While we continue to manage supply chain constraints, we are encouraged by the progress we are making, which is important for us to be able to add a second shift for general assembly towards the end of this quarter. Equally as important is the continued strong demand for our products. As of June 30th, we had about 98,000 net pre-orders and reservations for our R1 vehicles. Our daily pre-order rate accelerated in the second quarter compared to the first quarter, and as a reminder, these orders are for the United States and Canada only and are net of deliveries and cancellations. In June, we hosted a media event to showcase the capabilities of our R1S in both on and off-road settings. It has been great to see the feedback from various media sources and customers as more of our R1S vehicles get out on the road. Regarding our commercial business, in July we hosted an event in partnership with Amazon to announce the formal rollout of EDVs to locations across the country. Since early 2021, we've been operating pilot deployments to capture direct feedback from drivers. This partnership was critical to the refinement of the EDV products over the last 18 months. In addition to the set of unique features of the van, we've developed a comprehensive fleet management system, which we call FleetOS, that provides end-to-end centralized fleet management, including vehicle distribution, service, telematics, charging, connectivity management, and lifecycle management. As previously discussed, every vehicle delivered to Amazon comes with a FleetOS subscription, which represents a monthly recurring revenue stream for us. We are now ramping the build-out of our DC fast charging network, the Rivian Adventure Network. We believe it is critical for our brand to ensure our customers have a seamless charging experience that enables freedom to go anywhere without concern around charging access. In June, we launched our first locations using our DC chargers, which we manufacture in Normal, Illinois. These chargers have been developed from a clean sheet to operate at up to 900 volts, which is important for our future product roadmap. With a number of key sites underway, we are working to rapidly expand our network along popular routes, targeted destination areas, and major highways, initially across the U.S. and Canada. We believe this will be an important point of differentiation for us. We've also started pre-production of validation units for our single-motor Enduro drive unit. 2 of these Enduro drive units will be used in a dual-motor configuration in the R1 platform, and a single Enduro drive unit will be used for the commercial vans. This is the first of a family of drive units we are developing that will deliver greater efficiency and performance while creating meaningful cost savings. I'm very excited for the dual motor R1. Having spent a lot of time driving this, I can say as a base configuration with over 600 horsepower, it's a very exciting package. I also want to comment on the Inflation Reduction Act. This just recently passed the Senate and is likely to be signed into law over the next week. We're incredibly happy to see policy that helps drive more rapid adoption of electric vehicles, as well as the important investments in building domestic battery cell production. For the world to quickly shift towards a carbon-free economy, this type of legislation creates the needed tailwinds for both consumers and industry. The commercial segment in particular will benefit from the strong incentives for fleet operators to electrify, and our RCV platform has been developed for a wide range of applications. While many of our R1 configurations won't meet the bill's pricing requirements, our R2 product line and associated cell roadmap are being developed to allow our customers to capture the value of these incentives. We have plenty of work ahead of us, but I couldn't be more excited about the work our teams are doing for the ramp of the R1 and EDV vehicles, as well as the products, services, and technologies we have in the pipeline. I wanted to thank our dedicated team members, suppliers, and importantly, our customers and communities for the tremendous support you continue to show us. With that, I'll pass the call over to Claire.
Thanks, RJ. I want to echo your excitement around the second quarter results and the progress the team is making. During the second quarter, we produced and delivered over 4,400 vehicles, which was the primary driver of the $364 million of revenue we generated. During the quarter, we recorded negative gross profit of $704 million. Simultaneously launching 2 vehicle platforms and production lines is a complex process with high fixed costs associated with the labor and overhead required to run our large-scale plant, which can support 150,000 units of annual capacity. Our gross profit for the quarter was also impacted by the inflation of our materials as well as supply chain challenges, which caused the need for expedited shipping. In addition, we recorded a $301 million accounting adjustment in the second quarter related to LCNRV. As discussed on prior calls, the LCNRV adjustment writes down the value of certain inventory to the amount we anticipate receiving upon vehicle sale after considering the future costs necessary to ready the inventory for sale. On the research and development side, our team continues to pursue ongoing cost-down efforts associated with the R1 and RCV platforms, as well as the development of our next-generation vehicle technologies, which we expect to leverage across our current and future vehicle platforms. Our adjusted EBITDA for the second quarter was negative $1.3 billion. Given the economic outlook, we remain focused on optimizing our product roadmap and associated operating expenses and capital expenditures. We ended the second quarter with over $15 billion of cash and remain confident in our path to launch the R2 vehicle platform with our cash on hand. Now turning to guidance, we are reaffirming our 2022 guidance of 25,000 units of production. The supply chain continues to be the limiting factor in our production rates, but we remain confident in our ability to achieve our target. On the delivery side, in July, we started a larger effort to move from truck to rail for our outbound freight, which should provide additional cost savings as we scale our operations. This transition will cause a larger discrepancy between production and deliveries in the coming quarters as we ramp production. As a result of the impacts from the ramp of our normal factory, recent cost pressures associated with the inflation of our materials, the associated LCNRV adjustments, and expedited freight expenses, we are lowering our 2022 adjusted EBITDA guidance to negative $5.45 billion. Importantly, we are lowering our annual capital expenditure guidance from $2.6 billion to $2 billion, primarily due to our more focused product roadmap. In aggregate, we expect our ending cash position for 2022 to be in line with our initial expectations. In closing, I want to reiterate our confidence in our long-term financial targets. We see a clear path to our approximately 25% gross margin target, high teens EBITDA target, and approximately 10% free cash flow target. With that, let me turn the call back to the operator to open the line for Q&A.
Thank you. As a reminder, to ask a question, you'll need to press star 11 on your telephone. Please stand by. We compile the Q&A roster, and we ask that you limit yourself to one question and one follow-up. Again, we ask that you limit yourself to one question and one follow-up. And one moment for questions. And our first question comes from Rod Lachey from Wolfe Research. Your line is now open.
Hi, everybody. I'd like to just ask two questions. One is for Claire. A lot has obviously happened financially over the past year or so with inflation and supply chain issues. But could you maybe take a minute and maybe just take a step back and talk to us about the bridge to achieving positive gross margin from where we're at right now? We know that it consists of pricing and costs and volume, but if you could give us some thoughts on the components of that and the timing. And then secondly, RJ, was hoping you could maybe elaborate a little bit on the longer term implications of the Inflation Reduction Act for the competitive landscape and for Rivian specifically, and whether you see a path to achieving the material sourcing requirements that are in there and the value requirements, and a little bit more on the commercial side, which sounds like it could be really meaningful, up to, I think, $40,000 on certain gross vehicle weight vehicles. Does that sort of change the outlook for Rivian?
Thanks, Rod. This is Claire speaking, and wanted to hit on your first question in terms of what that path to positive gross profit and positive unit economics looks like for Rivian in particular. As you called out, right, we've seen unprecedented levels of inflation, especially across our raw material inputs and lithium prices that have gone up, north of 115% over, since the start of this year in particular, coupled with COVID and other factors that have driven a challenging supply chain and inflationary environment as well as part of that. But as we look out to the future, as I mentioned in my prepared remarks, we have significant confidence in the long-term gross profit margin targets that we've set out for ourselves of approximately 25%. And I'll give you a little bit of that path as we see from today, going from our current state to that future state of positive unit economics. We see 2024 as really that pivotal year for us in driving a step change in terms of the underlying gross margin expectations within the business, as we have a couple of significant factors that are starting to impact our underlying unit economics. First and foremost, it's really driven by us ramping our plant and our productivity within our 150,000 units of installed capacity within Normal, that allows us to really leverage all of those fixed overhead and costs associated with our large scale production facility. Second, it's also our ability to introduce our next generation technologies into our vehicles, first in our R1 products, as well as in our EDV. So those are things like insourcing of our motors, the introduction of our LFP pack, which will be introduced first in our commercial vehicles, that allow us to really drive a step change in terms of vehicle performance in that time frame, which enables us to increase pricing on the vehicles, given the fact we'll have vehicles with added range and added performance and capabilities. But they also importantly drive significant cost downs within our bill of materials as we look at that roadmap ahead. And then finally, the other core factor as we think about that stepstone from a gross profit perspective is also really the anniversarying or moving beyond those pre-March 1st pre-orders as well, that allow us to move into our current ASPs. And as we reiterated our last earnings call, we've seen $93,000 plus ASPs with the pre-orders that we've had post pricing change.
Thanks, Claire. And Rod, I appreciate the question. I think with regards to the Inflation Reduction Act, this is, as I commented earlier, this is a really important step, and I think it's great for the acceleration of electrification and really providing a path to carbon neutral economy. Now, in terms of what that represents for us, it's certainly a powerful tailwind. As you commented, in the commercial space, at the higher GVW class, this would be in the realm of what we call our EDV 900, which is the largest version of our RCV platform. So GVW, gross vehicle weight above 14,000 pounds. The incentives are quite strong, the consumer-facing incentives at over $40,000. So we see this as really helping to drive a rapid transition to electric vehicles in the commercial space. And then in a similar way on the consumer side, certainly creating tailwinds around localization of the supply chain, in particular with battery cell. And we've designed not just the product, but also the way we think about our supply chain and our battery cell strategy to really be consistent with the intent of what we've seen in the Inflation Reduction Act. So I think this is great news for electrification. It's certainly something we're very excited about, and it's going to have long range implications for the whole industry.
Great, thank you.
And thank you. And one moment for our next question. And our next question comes from John Murphy from Bank of America. Your line is now open.
Good afternoon, good evening, guys. Maybe just to follow up on Rod's question here. I mean, mix seems like it may ultimately be much stronger than you're expecting, and I think one of the interesting comments from one of the reviewers in your shareholder letter, RJ, was that they compared the R1s to the Range Rover, Mercedes Geländewagen, and the Urus. So I'm just curious, if you think about the retail side, if there's an opportunity to keep mix incredibly strong and push maybe to the higher end of the range, and then also grow the commercial vehicle side of the business, kind of to those credits that Rob was just going over with you, and that mix may be just far superior to anything you were expecting, mix and pricing in the past, and that's really what helps offset the inflation, and maybe you hit your margin targets or maybe something better. I mean, how do you think about these early days of the reviews and what you're actually getting on a mix from a retail and commercial side?
Yeah, thanks, John. We talked about this in the last call. We've certainly been really pleased with the reaction to the product and how excited consumers are. And with that, we do believe there's a lot of pricing power embedded in the vehicles and embedded in what we're creating as a brand. And with that, the demand that we continue to see growing and accelerating really speaks to that. So for us, looking on the consumer side, we're certainly thinking about it in the context of some of our future packages and some of the configurations that we'll offer over time. But it is stronger than what we expected, and it does certainly offset some of the increased costs we're seeing. With regards to commercial, in a very similar way, we see the demand for commercial electrification being very strong across all different segments, not just last mile. And the platform we have with RCV, the Rivian Commercial Van, is really set up well for that. Of course, we're initially focusing on the delivery space, but across cargo, across work van, there's a whole host of applications where we see very strong demand, and that's of course going to be amplified by the Inflation Reduction Act.
Okay, and then just beginning to ask a quick follow-up that's helpful, RJ, on the EBITDA guide. I mean, clear, it looks like there's a pretty meaningful deterioration through the second half versus the first half. I mean, volume is ramping up. We get some of these fixed costs covered. I mean, is it just simply cost inflation that's eroding the second half versus the first half, or what's the key driver there?
Sure. The key drivers that we've experienced are both our expectation that there'll be higher anticipated cost of goods sold, and that's partially offset by lower operating expenses within the business. And I'll unpack a little bit of the higher COGS outlook, which includes both the fact that we've seen higher startup costs or inefficiencies associated with ramping 4 vehicles across 2 production lines at our plant in Normal. We've also seen higher levels of inflation, especially around raw material inflation, and some of those, while we've seen spikes in terms of where the spot market is for some of those inflationary raw material factors, Some of those are also second half impacts that we'll experience just given the contracts that we have with some of our suppliers. And then beyond that, we've also experienced increased costs in regard to our expedited freight expenses, which are really the result of the challenging supply chain environment that we've been navigating as well. And then one last point on it is also the fact that we do expect to also incur higher levels of LCNRV over the course of the remainder of the year, which are really the result of many of these increases across our startup costs as well as inflation. So, for example, every additional dollar of inflation also impacts the LCNRV adjustment that we make on our inventory and firm commitments at the end of each quarter. And so it really has an amplifying or multiplying effect given the factors that I walked through that have driven some of this headwind from a cost of goods sold perspective as we look out over the course of the second half of the year. But I do want to just reiterate the fact that we do still expect that our year-ending cash balance will be unchanged relative to our initial expectations, given the fact we've also reduced our CapEx guidance due to our focused product roadmap and the push out of certain CapEx spend to 2023.
That's very helpful. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. And one moment for our next question. And our next question comes from Mark Delaney from Goldman Sachs. Your line is now open.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you very much for taking the questions. I was hoping first you could talk a little bit more on the supply chain issues that you're seeing. What are some of the biggest constraints currently? And as you speak to adding a second shift later in the third quarter, what needs to happen in order to enable that pickup in production?
Thanks, Mark. We've certainly seen some of the supply chain challenges we've talked about in previous calls start to really shift, and this was embedded into our overall projections and our guidance and confidence around our guidance for 25,000 vehicles for the year. The second quarter saw a number of challenges in terms of the semiconductor space as well as just overall ramping of the volume within our supply base. But as we look out for the remainder of the year through Q3 and Q4, we have a lot of confidence that both the suppliers are really leaning in with us, but also we see the demonstrated performance to be able to hit the continued ramp, and this is what's enabling us to plan for the second shift to come online here later this quarter.
That's helpful. And my second question is, the company announced some targeted cost reductions recently. How much cost do you expect that to save when fully implemented, and when do you think you'll be at that full run rate of savings? Thanks.
From a cost perspective, ultimately, as I mentioned, as I walked through some of the levers of the adjustments to our underlying EBITDA guidance, we do expect there to be an underlying OPEX savings throughout the course of this year. Given the reductions in force that we have made, most of the payroll savings we don't expect to really take full effect until 2023. But it's also important to note that as we think about our roadmap forward, we're also investing in a lot of the key areas of growth within the business. So we've really tried to allocate that resource and investment in those critical next generation technologies and the build out of our customer service and customer support efforts from a transaction perspective as well. So in aggregate, you'll see more of a flattening of our operating expenses that we'll start with a reduction in Q4 and then build up throughout the course of 2023. That's the changes that we've made and the optimization from an operating expense perspective allows us to continue to invest in these critical areas of the business.
Thank you.
Thank you. And one moment for our next question. And our next question comes from Joe Spak from BBC Capital. Your line is now open.
Thanks so much, everyone. was wondering if you could just provide a little bit more color on the second shift that you expect to sort of come on here at the end of this quarter, right? It's not another line, it's a shift. So if you have that first shift running at rate, how much more rate does that second shift give you? I imagine it wouldn't be 2x, but some framing would be helpful.
Thanks, Joe. Bringing on a second shift is, it involves both making sure the supply chain is capable of supporting it, as we talked about before. It wouldn't make any sense for us to have to hire a whole second shift and then to have the line sit still waiting for parts. So first and foremost, we've been very, very much emphasizing supplier readiness to support this, and have worked very closely to look at any parts that we think are constrained or may be constrained. But with that, the other big element is, of course, making sure the organization's ready for that. And this really ties to the shop floor leadership. So making sure our team leaders, our group leaders are prepared. We've got the training programs in place. In fact, we had a great leadership offsite. We had all the group leaders from across the plant a couple of weeks ago, and really getting the whole organization ready to go to a second shift and making sure we have leaders that have experience running in the first shift, as you said, on a line that's fairly stable, such that when we bring on the second shift, that we get as much output out of the second shift as possible. Now, it's not a binary step. There is a process of ramping the second shift, much like we have with the first shift. But in terms of equipment readiness, robotics and automation controls, those items, of course, have already been worked out through the running of the first shift. So we expect the bring on and ramp up of the second shift to be much very rapid. And we've begun hiring for that. So the hiring has been underway, and it's working. We're working towards bringing that second shift, as I said before, online by the end of this quarter.
Okay. I guess, the second question is relates to Fleet OS, which, you detailed in the shareholder letter somewhat. Is that exclusively what Amazon is using, or are they using a layer of their own software on top of what you provide them? And then, since you indicated that there's an element of recurring revenue here, is it possible to sort of break out how many EDVs are in the quarter? And I know there's been some numbers reported in the press as sort of what you expected for the year, but maybe you could sort of just clear that up, what you think you could deliver to Amazon for the year.
One of the things that's really exciting about the EDV program is, on the surface you look at and we see the van, this large, very friendly looking commercial van, but what you're not necessarily seeing is the amount of work and effort that went into really deeply integrating the vehicle and into Amazon's ecosystem. And so when you get into the vehicle, what you see on the screen, the way it integrates within the routing platform, took a lot of close partnership and collaboration, a lot of feedback and iteration working with drivers. Now, above and beyond that, of course, Fleet OS is a platform we use to effectively utilize and manage the fleet. So that's looking at prognostics around maintenance and service. Of course, looking at the data around how the vehicles are being used, where we can predictively assess issues that may come up, fleet management in terms of how do we think about aging of the vehicles, and then, of course, some of the bigger items that really affect day in, day out operations like charging. So this is something that we developed with the benefit of a lot of iteration and iteration with Amazon, but also with a lot of visibility to exactly how an electric fleet at scale is going to be used and the benefits that can be derived from centralized deterministic decision making around how efficiently and effectively the fleets are deployed.
Okay, and any chance at the number of EDVs?
Oh yeah, we haven't announced the specific number of EDVs that are being built. I would say, as we've talked about, you referenced it publicly, we're really excited to start seeing a lot more of these on the road. We had a launch event several weeks ago in partnership with Amazon, and the thing that is perhaps the most motivating to us is just getting a chance to meet with drivers and seeing how excited they are to be in the vehicles and all the little details that we worked through and thought about, whether it's the the powered bulkhead door, the step height, the grab handles, even the software features I talked about before, our cooled seats. Each of those features lights up a driver's day and makes their office, so to speak, a more enjoyable and better place to be in. So we are very, very motivated to deliver as many as possible, and certainly Amazon is pushing for that as well. This is a key part of their climate pledge, and we'll start seeing a lot more of these on the road very soon.
Thank you. Thank you. And one moment for our next question. And our next question comes from Charles Coldicott from Redburn. Your line is now open.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my questions. My first one on production. I wondered if you would be willing to comment on the weekly production rate that you exited Q2 with and give us an idea of where it is today, or at least maybe also some sort of idea about Q4 for the remainder of your production guidance.
Sure, Charles. And one of the interesting things, if one tries to average our output over the second quarter, it's in some ways misleading because it hides the signal, so to speak, in the sense that there was a lot of second quarter where we weren't able to fully utilize our line. We weren't able to even run a full single shift because of component supply. And so as you look at the exit rate, or I think even more importantly, the unconstrained production rate, where we had component supply to support full utilization of the lines, it was considerably higher than what the average was over the course of the quarter. And knowing the state of the supply chain and knowing and having the confidence around component supply throughout quarter three and into quarter four allows us to have confidence in an expansion in the level of volume we're going to be delivering this quarter, and then certainly into Q4 as we move to fully utilizing two shifts. So ultimately, again, we continue to have confidence in our guidance for the year, and that's born out of the demonstrated performance in terms of line operations through quarter two, and through the deep relationships and confidence we have with our suppliers.
Okay, thank you. And then just on the order intake, so it seems like it accelerated at the end of Q2. Can you talk a bit about maybe why you think that was, perhaps share some detail on particular vehicle trims that were most popular?
For sure. And we've been able to spend a good deal of time interacting with customers, and one of the things that we continue to hear back from customers is how often they get asked about their vehicle. And if you take a trip to the beach, or if you're in a shopping plaza, people are naturally drawn to the vehicle and ask lots of questions and are excited to see it. And that's creating ever greater awareness. So the more vehicles that are on the road, the more people are learning about them, hearing about them. And we certainly think that's leading to some of the accelerated demand that we're now witnessing. But as was referenced earlier in the call, we're also continuing to see very positive reviews. So journalists, influencers having a chance to get exposure to the vehicle are seeing that this is such a unique combination of extremely high on-road performance, incredibly capable off-road performance, really nice everyday usability within a package that, from a technology point of view and a connectivity point of view, is wonderfully fun to use. So that's creating echoes, I think, throughout the customer base, where people are hearing about the vehicle and getting very excited about it. Now, with that said, and Claire mentioned this, we also see strong preference for some of our highest trim and getting very excited about it. Now, with that said, and Claire mentioned this, we also see strong preference for some of our highest trims. So both in terms of the content on the interior of the vehicle, but also our drivetrain configurations. And so the high trims, or for the more expensive trims, is very high. In fact, higher than we had expected as well. And it's in many ways capturing the really strong pricing power that the vehicles and the brand represent, and what gives us a lot of confidence, as we talked about before, around our margin structure long term.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. And one moment for our next question. And our next question comes from George Gianarikas from Canaccord. Your line is now open.
Oh, hey everyone. Good evening, and thanks for taking my question. I'd love to hear about what the cars that you have on the road, what kind of data they're sharing with you so far, how the data that you've collected can inform future product design, or what it's telling you about your product performance to date. Thanks.
Thanks, George. One of the really exciting things that one of the things I think our team enjoys the most is to see how all of our vehicles get used and to hear the stories from customers and to see the everyday use cases and the extreme use cases. So I get emails and notes all the time with pictures of the vehicles at the to the top of mountains or driving through off-road trails, and then we also see them stuff full of kids in gear on their way to Disney World. So it is really it's rewarding for not just myself but for the full team to see people really using our vehicles as we intended, to both enable but also inspire people to go do the kinds of things they want to take photographs of, and so that really is echoing through the organization as we now think about R2 and some of the features that go into it, and how do we make sure we continue to capture the essence of the brand, that the desire or the brand essence of driving the desire to go explore and to see new things. Now, in terms of the specific data coming off the vehicles, of course, we're using the data off of our self-driving platform to continue to improve and refine features, and we're seeing that every couple of weeks with our over-the-air updates that provide enhancements on everything from self-driving to new drive modes to we just recently added a pet mode. Soon we're going to be adding a camp mode. It's a very exciting mode. So the feedback loop, as well as how we're realizing the vehicles are going to use, informs a lot of the digital feature set that we continually add to the vehicle over time.
I'd like to ask just one follow-up on that. Reportedly, VW's CEO lost his job because the company wasn't pivoting quickly enough to developing its own internal software. How successful are you guys in continuing to hire the right software talent? And if you could just remind us, how much third-party software do you use throughout your vehicle, and how much have you developed on your own? Thank you.
So our vehicle architecture was really designed at its core as being really a software-focused or software-first platform. So the compute platforms or the ECUs across the vehicle, the network architecture, these are developed in-house. So those are everything from the experience module to the autonomous control module to the vehicle dynamics module. These compute platforms are developed in-house, and of course the software stacks that sit on top of those are developed in-house. And we deeply believe that control of not just the electronics, but also the software that runs across all those platforms is incredibly important in terms of creating differentiated customer experiences and experiences that are enhanced over time. And when I say enhanced over time, I'm not measuring time in months or years, but measuring time in weeks. So the vehicle gets better week over week, month after month. And it's one of the things we're finding with our early customers that they really love. If they have feedback on something, we can address it. If there's an idea for a feature, we can create it. And so from the very early days of forming Rivian, we always had a very heavy focus on knowing that vertical integration and control of our electronics and software stack was going to be critical for creating these highly differentiated customer experiences.
And thank you. And one moment for our next question. And our next question comes from Alexander Potter from Piper Sandler. Your line is now open.
Great. Thanks, guys. Couple questions on RCV and FleetOS. So first one, you mentioned there's a lot of demand for vans, these types of applications, cargo, outside of e-commerce and last mile delivery. But I'm also interested, the extent to which you actually have the bandwidth to entertain inbound questions or inquiries from big fleets that are outside those initial markets that you're focusing on? Do you have the ability to start talking through, I don't know if it's telco or some of these other commercial van fleets, how you would integrate as closely as you have with Amazon? I mean, it's not something you do overnight. So, yeah, I guess that's the first question.
Alex, it's a great question, and as you noted, for these very large fleets, the sales cycle, so to speak, takes a long time. So building the relationships, understanding the needs of the fleet, determining what adjustments to the vehicle or specific attributes of the vehicle need to be sort of thought about in the context of how to be used within these larger fleets. It just simply takes time. And so while the production, while our production lines are ramping and we're delivering as many vehicles as we can to Amazon, we've started those long cycle discussions with some of the very large fleets, and they're certainly making sure that as these larger fleets, beyond the last mile as well, as they start to plan their path of being fully electrified, that we're supporting that planning, but also, of course, embedding ourselves into that planning. And as I said, I think the Inflation Reduction Act certainly creates a very large amplification of the demand here, and it's certainly a very strong tailwind for us as we have those discussions.
Okay, yeah, then Inflation Reduction Act, you mentioned that, so that reminded me of the other question I wanted to ask. How feasible is it? You get a lot of people saying that, it's well-intentioned and everybody is sort of on board with the objective, but, it can take 7-10 years to get production, refining, mining permitted in the U.S. So, do we need to break bottlenecks on or cut red tape in order for this bill to actually end up having any impact? Thanks.
Yeah, in terms of domestic battery production, you're right. Some of these items do take time, whether it's a cell plant or material processing, let's say lithium hydroxide processing facility. It's important to note that in the commercial space, the requirements for localization are not as aggressive as they are in the consumer space. So that's an important distinction for us, that the full localization of that supply chain does not have the same tight requirements that we have in the consumer vehicles. Now, in the consumer vehicle side for R2, this is something that we've been working on for a while and have talked about previously, but really designing a supply chain that is addressing some of the geopolitical risks above and beyond what's now sort of being driven by the Inflation Reduction Act. But that's been something that's been work underway for quite some time. And as we've contemplated and planned for the long-term supply chain for R2, we've always looked at it through the lens of making sure we had domestic supply chain to support the ramp up of that product.
Very good. Thanks, guys.
And thank you. And one moment for our next question. And our next question comes from Emmanuel Rosner from Deutsche Bank. Your line is now open.
Thank you very much. First question is on the EDVs and deliveries to Amazon. I think in the past you've highlighted at least some full-year target around the split in the 25,000 units between R1s and EDVs. Can you just remind us what that is and whether you're tracking in line with those targets so far? And then related to sort of like this Amazon business, can you also remind us of either the pricing or economics of the Fleet OS?
Sure, Emmanuel. As RJ mentioned, we're working hard to build as many EDVs as possible this year. One quick call out is also the seasonality impacts that we have with Amazon. Q4 is really Amazon's peak holiday period, and so for us, we're really trying to charge ahead and build as many as we can through the fall to get as many of those vehicles out on the road to service those customers throughout that peak holiday period over the next handful of months overall. we're not providing a specific target at this time in terms of the overall penetration of EDVs that we expect to produce this year. But as RJ mentioned, we're working through some of the supply chain bottlenecks as we speak to make sure that we're continuously ramping our production output of the EDVs, and we've seen really significant progress on the line. So our lines are capable of producing far in excess of the underlying weekly output from a production perspective that we've seen to date. And we're, as we've talked about in the past, we're not providing specifics around the FleetOS pricing that we're providing for Amazon, but we specifically see this as a significant long-term margin accretive piece of our business as we think about the broader service opportunity that Rivian can address. And FleetOS is really that first example of that long-term opportunity, and it's a proposition that we can offer to many other fleet customers as well. I think that's one of the key advantages is just the flexibility that the platform entails for both Amazon, but also importantly for other potential commercial fleet managers as well that we can address with it.
Thank you. And then my second question is on the CapEx outlook. So you've cut this year's planned spending from $2.6 to $2 billion. Can you talk about the implications for the outlook beyond this year? I think that as part of last quarter's update, I think this was generally lower to like low $2 billion or so, per year through mid-decade. Do you have to catch up on some of the delayed spending from this year, into next year? Is $2 billion the new run rate on a go-forward basis? How should we think about that?
Sure. So as we think about the CapEx roadmap for the coming years, we still expect to be spending in that low $2 billion area through 2025, which allows us to continue to invest in the expansion of our plant in Normal, Illinois, where right now we're adding our in-sourced motor production lines. It also entails us the opportunity to invest in the first 200,000 units of capacity for R2 in Georgia. And so the timing, some of the timing changes definitely do fluctuate, one year to the next. But in total, our expectation remains unchanged around continuing to spend in that low $2 billion area from a CapEx perspective. And that's really been driven by the focused product roadmap that we've set out and we've talked about throughout the course of the last quarter as well.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you. And one moment for our next question. And our next question comes from Ryan Brinkman from JP Morgan. Your line is now open.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. I realize your vehicles have not been on the road all that long, but I'm curious how many miles you estimate your customers may have driven thus far. I think you may have good data around that, and how warranty and service claims might be tracking relative to your initial expectations, either in terms of frequency or severity or expense, for that given mileage amount. And then, when the vehicles are subject to service or repair, are they more coming into your service centers? And maybe remind us how many you're up to now, I think over 20. Or are you more frequently sending mechanics out to your customers' homes? And, how has the customer experience been tracking to date in either case?
Yeah, Ryan, great bunch of questions. Just to sort of start with the service question, we have 24 brick and mortar service locations today, and these handle the larger service activities. They also handle pre-delivery inspection for us. But as you indicated in your question, a lot of our service is actually done through our mobile fleet. So we have a fleet of vans and Rivian R1Ts that go to a customer's home or go to a customer's place of business and can service the vehicle there. And that will, over time, that's going to make up the vast majority of our service events. Today, it's on the order of about 50%, but growing very quickly. With that said, there are a lot of miles driven and a lot of miles driven on different terrains. We haven't published a number on total number of miles driven. And with regards to warranty or service, we also haven't provided guidance on warranty or service numbers. But but we can say certainly that it's been great to see the vehicles being used across so many different environments, and seeing what we've really enjoyed is seeing people take very long road trips. We've had lots of trips going across the country. We actually have some, just got some notes, some vehicles that drove from California up to Alaska. So there's a lot of really long trips, a lot of really strenuous trips that are being taken in the vehicles, which is fun to see.
Very helpful. Thank you.
And thank you.
Coming up at the end, I test the Amazon Rivian van.
I would now like to turn the call back over to RJ Scarnage for closing remarks.
So stick with me at the end, 2-minute video.
Well, thank you
of the
everyone
Amazon
for joining the
van.
call. We're really excited about the path ahead, the continued ramp of the R1 and product line, and of course the EDVs from our normal facility, as well as the technologies that Claire and I both spoke to today that we're developing across our propulsion platform, our network architecture, our self-driving, and of course software and our full software stack. So looking forward to seeing a lot more of our vehicles on the road, and thank you again for the time.
Thank you. This concludes today's conference call. Thank you for participating. You may now disconnect.
Okay, so if you stick with me just for a moment, I am going to give you a very important link. Amazon, the Amazon Rivian van came down my street and I tested it. I went inside the Amazon van. So if you'd like to test this out, have a little look here in the video. In the chat right now is a 2-minute video, very, very short video. And it is the Amazon Rivian van. It came down my street and I thought you might like to have a little quick look. So there it is. I will actually share with you the video. This is it right now, just very quickly. I've given you the link. I'm not going to play the video right now, but this is the Amazon van. It came down my street, Rivian, and that is me with an Amazon driver. And it was a really, really interesting look around his vehicle. So I've given you the chat. I've given you the video in the chat. There you go. You can go and check that out. Now then, if you've enjoyed my content today and you would like to be in our free cash prize draw in the morning, we're live every single day, 10 hours a day. We're here to help you, and we're here to share with you our real trades, our real positions, our real money. Please do join us every single day here on the Day Trader. In the morning, I'm giving a cash prize away. I do it every single Friday. I basically give away the money I make on my videos every single Friday. So if I share with you right now the cash prize draw, if you'd like to be in it, we do it through a secure email every week. Here it is, the email link if you'd like to be part of our draw. There it is. Unfortunately, we never quite got 100 likes. So the World Piano Man isn't going to perform for you, which is me, by the way. I'm awarded the World Piano Man. This is my TV studio behind me. I'll give you a wave. I was all ready to perform Rocket Man if I got 100 likes, but unfortunately, we didn't quite get there. A little bit short tonight, so never mind. I didn't get there. But if you'd like to be in our free cash prize draw, here is the link for you. I'll give it to you in the chat right now. There it is. And once you click on that, it'll take you to my secure email server, and you put your email in there, and then all you have to do then is verify the email. The email will come to you, and you need to verify the email. It goes into your junk folder always because it mentions the word free cash prize draw. This is the email you are looking for. It will go into your junk folder, thedaytrader@martynlucas.com. There is the email you are looking for. It's in the chat for you right now. That is the email you're looking for, and this is the link you need. Now, on the All Links button, if you scroll below, not only do you get the email newsletter and all the cash prize draws, there are many other things I do. I'm trying to grow the best YouTube channel in the world. I give away everything I make here. We're giving away over $1 million into our charities. This is my studio behind me. You can see it. And if we got, what we're now, 46 likes. Unfortunately, we didn't get to 100. If we did, we'll try again on our next earnings report, which will be next week. If you'd like to tune in, I'm live every morning for the opening and closing bell. Right, that's it. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. If you look out in the next hour or so, the Rivian Earnings edited version will come down, so it will just be the main points. That will come out in about an hour, and you can check that out as well. But that's it from me. If anybody has a question, would like to be a member, call into our show, have a live say, you can. Here is the invitation to join. You can call into our live shows. You can have your say. And that's all open to our members. Here's the invitation to join should you wish to do so. I hope you subscribed and rung the bell. Please do support us. We go live every single day. But that's it from me. Thank you very much indeed. The earnings, there it is. That's tonight's earnings for Rivian. It wasn't an amazing earnings, but I'm okay with it. I'm up 41%. I sold at 170. I made my money, used the profits to buy free shares, which is what this is. I'm now 41% up. Now, if you want to see my full portfolio, here is my full portfolio. All this from $5,000. I'm up to 43,000 right now. This is my SPCE. Tesla position. This is my Rivian position, my Lucid. These are all my investments here. Polestar is up today 4.91%, just down slightly in the after hours. Arrival, we had an awful earnings for Arrival, but it will go the same way as what was it called? Not DNA. What am I looking for? What is my other stock that I've got? I forgot the name has gone. I've been live 10 hours a day. What can I say? Canoe, GOEV. It'll be okay in a few days' time. Johnson & Johnson, big drop today. Very, very surprising to see that. But so I doubled up when it went down. I was down 4%. I'm now down 2.84. Good place to park your money. Good dividends. Very, very happy. So there we go. That's the end of our Rivian earnings. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you very much for being here. Canoe, thank you so much indeed. Thank you very much, Seb Dean, for jumping in and reminding me. Appreciate it. Yeah, GOEV. There it is. But yeah, I completely forgot the name of it. Anyway, this was the Rivian earnings. It's okay. Nothing amazing. Nothing to write home about, but not too bad. Right. I will see you all back in the morning. I'm back live in the morning. There's no point doing the credits tonight. Oh, no. Do you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway because I want to thank the people that subscribe to my channel. We got many, many subscribers during tonight's show. So just need someone to say, roll the credits, and I'll be out of here. So someone tell me to roll the credits, and I'll roll the credits, and I'll see you back in the morning for the opening bell. Another earnings, 10 hours a day, 14 months now. We've been here live every day. We just need to roll the credits and thank those of you that took part in tonight's show. Did you give me a tip? Did you subscribe? Did you follow? We're about to find out when someone says roll the credits. There you go, roll the credits. Thank you very much indeed. Here we go. Let's roll the credits. Thank you very much indeed. Stars of the show, moderators, no one needed to do anything. Subscribers, Merchant Barakat, Jasip Singh, Darwin Podreka, and Pablo A. They are all the open subscribers. There may have been more, but if your subscriptions are private, no one knows what they are. But if you are a public subscriber, Merchant Barakat, Jasdeep Singh, Darwin Podreka, and Pablo A. Wonderful stuff. Thank you very much indeed. Jaman, thank you so much indeed. Did everyone subscribe or ring the bell? Did you do that? Did you do all the subscribing? Did you do all the good stuff? Did you give me a thumbs up? Unfortunately, we didn't get 100 likes, so there's no Rocket Man tonight. I was all ready to perform a live song, but sadly, we didn't quite get there. But never mind. I will see you. Am I late again? Charlie Bucket. Gonna have a golden ticket. We're gonna have a golden ticket. Let's raise a beer to my friend Charlie Bucket. There we go. Unfortunately, you are late, but you can rewind the video and you can also look out for the edited version, which will be out in a short while. The edited version will be out in about half an hour, so check that out. But that's it. Jaman, thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Charlie Bucket. Am I late again? Yeah, bring a note next time. Cheers. Thank you very much. You're very welcome. You got this, Harry Harrison. Thank you very much, everyone that took part. We will be back live in the morning. If you're over there on TikTok, thanks to all of you. live cash giveaway in the morning. I hope you've all subscribed to the newsletter. Here it is one last time if you didn't. I'm going to give you the link now to the newsletter. All you got to do is subscribe to the newsletter. You can always unsubscribe if you don't want it, but why wouldn't you? We give free cash prizes every Friday. There it is. We do cash prizes in the morning. Once you've clicked on it, put your email in and then verify your email. It always goes into your junk folder. You're looking for The Day Trader at martynlucas.com. It's in the chat. I'll see you back in the morning. Have a great night. We're all in the game. We're still making money. Take care of yourselves and each other.